hopefully you did the homework from last week. Where is my success coming from, and what activity is producing my success? Next slide, Trish. All right, we talked last week about the income levels of the last 40 years. For people under 50,000, the income level is 50,100 and under. 50% of the people have that type of income. Above that, the top two lines, the red and the purple, are people that is the top 10% of the people's income. And you can see the difference in the lines of the income for a 40-year span from 1967 to 2011. The key is that the ones at the bottom that never get above the middle income and below, are their income level is straight across. The ones at the top the income is growing up. And the difference is they're doing whatever it takes mindset. And that's what we're going to talk about relating to Legal Shield. So let's go to the next slide. When we're starting our Legal Shield business, it's really, I just spoke in Detroit with the CEO, Jeff Bell, and James Rousseau, and it was basically the strategy is when you've used the service, you're a satisfied customer, and then you see the little arrow, and then you see the big city here on the screen. And so what is the best strategy for you to reach your local market? Maybe you have 10,000, 100,000, a million, or 5 million in your local market, but it's all the same. It's you by yourself, a satisfied customer, and the rest of the world does not know why you are satisfied as a customer. And the strategy has to be, how do you bridge that open, huge gap between all the people that have never heard about Legal Shield and you? And that's really what business is all about. You know, if I had an Apple phone, and I know it was really good and it was really easy to use, and I was the only one in America with an iPod and Apple phone and all the Apple devices, I would somehow have to start letting people see how much I love my phone, how much I love my, what is the other Apple pad? iPad, iPod, all those products, and I'd have to go out there and I'd show them the product, and they'd go, wow. And if you think about how you bought an Apple phone, or if you don't have an Apple, you bought the other kind, one of those called Androids, there's a reason. Somebody said, look at my phone. Somebody said, see how great this is. You saw their screen that was larger on the Androids. You thought, I'm moving from an Apple to an Android, or whatever the decision was. It wasn't like you got an email that said, here, use this Apple phone. It was, you saw it, you heard from people how much they liked it, you started observing the benefit that they got that you want, and then you bought it yourself. So the right strategy for Apple was to get it out in the market so people used it, liked it, became satisfied customers. So satisfied customers started talking to other people. I remember I was an anti-Apple person, and Allison Brummett came in, and she from UT as an intern, and she was working with us, and she was a total Apple. All she talked about was Apple, 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 why it's so much better, and all this kind of stuff. And she would show me this, and I'd be on my PC, and she'd be on her Apple. And she eventually convinced me and showed me, based on her satisfied customer status, why I should have the product as well. And now we all have Apple products in the hospital. And so the right strategy is that simple. You know, sometimes people make it so difficult. How do you build this business? And they really don't think logical business. They think all these crazy things. And I'm like, what are you doing? And I'm not seeing them have the success that we're having with the people we're working with, that we're teaching the basics. And the basics is this. Use the service, then you share the service, then you coach people to do the same. And you've seen that chart before. Let's go to the next slide, Trish. And here's that slide on traditional business. And I had my son's spas. I used the service. I thought it works. So I thought, wow, this is the best service ever. I went out, shared the service. But here's one little thing that differentiates. This is the only thing in all of the Apple stories and my son's spa stories, and if you owned a Firehouse Subs franchise, or et cetera, it's Small Business America, you don't have the centerpiece of this slide here. You cannot share the opportunity. So I used the tanning spa, the European tanning bed. I liked it, got a service, got a benefit, and thought, wow. The equation was, if I liked it, would all the people in my local area like it? Because I cannot believe the benefit I got. I've got to share this, and you know, this is going to be a successful venture for me. So when I shared the service, it was phenomenal. I had a lot of success. I eventually had to hire employees and open up stores. But the thing was, I couldn't share with my managers or my employees the opportunity to own their own company with my tanning spa chain. I was the only owner. And there's the downside of Small Business America. There's the downside of corporate America. You stay an employee, you stay a manager. You never can, you can own it if you own the company, but no one else can. And so it's bad for the employees. And then, of course, if I was building and training people, they would, let's say I had a great manager. Let's say I have a Deb Otten. She's running one of my tanning spas, and she's so sharp and so amazing with people. But Deb realizes, wow, you know, I want to own my own company. I want to be a manager. So Deb either quits and goes opens her own tanning spa, and I have no override, no leverage income from everything I coached Deb to learn, or she gets a better paying job because she learned all the skill sets in my company and moves on to a better paying job, but leaves me, and I still make no residual income or leverage income for all the efforts in coaching Deb to be successful in traditional business. So the big stinking X in the center means I can open another location for my European tanning spas, but I can't help my managers own their own tanning spa. That's traditional business, but it's all the same as what we do in our business, except we get to go to the next slide. When we go out and use the service and share the service, I still see the same slide, Trish. We get to share the opportunity. So in Legal Shield, I use the service. I'm so excited. I go out and share the service. I get referrals to the power of 3, and somebody says, hey, go back to the, I haven't gotten to that slide yet. Someone says, hey, you know, in my referrals, I get, you know, anyone else who, just like you, that would need the service for the reasons that you got it, and you know any companies that care about their employees, and we're also looking for help. We need more people helping us take this to the market. And Deb says to me, I would like to do that. So now I've used the service, and I'm out there sharing the service. I happen to be sharing it with a Deb Otten. She gets excited. So just like I'm sharing the ability, the excitement with a potential manager of my tanning spas, but it changes here. Now Deb can now be part of the business, and she can start to use the service and share the service and do our 3 referrals to the power of 3, and that's going to explode into groups and small business owners and new customers and potential recruits and all of that. So then you coach and you duplicate, and this is our business model. So the main thing about the webinar is we don't do anything different than everybody else does out there in Business America or North America. We do the same thing. We use service share, except we can share the opportunity. That's the only difference in our business model, to keep your confusion out of the way and treat this like a business. So now, last week, and now we can go to the next slide, we talked about if we are going to get off the flat line of income, where your income's the same from 40 years ago as it is 40 years later, you're going to have to do things that you're not used to doing. And one of the things that true business does is assess their previous year. They look at their marketing, they look at their source, they look at the methods that they went to the marketplace, and in regular business it would be looking at whether they buy radio and TV, billboards, do they, you know, sponsor that big baseball diamond, you know, their names on the field, or all those little things they do that they pay money for. Are they getting a return on that investment? So that's traditional business. In our business, we don't really spend the money on the marketing like a billboard or a TV ad, but we spend money going out there in the market with certain methods. So we need to look at that and say, what is working for us? What is our source of how we are getting our clients? So if I spend all my time with my tanning spas marketing in African American magazines, that would have been why. That source wasn't the source of who was coming in my tanning spa. That would have been unwise. I wouldn't have had the success I had. But I understood the source was an 18-year-old to a 25-year-old was a big chunk, or a professional business person that wanted to look good. Then the next question is, if I know my source, what's the best method to reach my source? And then I would start to look at different avenues that I could market to reach my source, the person that was coming into my business. That's what we did last week. That's what we're going to kind of review and get the feedback from you all, what you learned from your source and methods assessment. What was your statement, John?
No, just in demographics.
Yeah, the demographics of your client that you're selling to. Now, everyone on this phone, you've seen all these different people say, I'm this, I'm that, I'm a network marketer, and I'm a groupie, and I'm a this, and I'm a that. And I say, forget all that, because you're not. You're a sales and marketing company, and you're going out to individuals, families, small businesses, and their employees. But you may specialize in a certain, maybe consumer market, let's say. You go out to the consumer, you make a presentation, you get referrals to the power of 3. That opens up the door to additional consumer sales. Somebody says owns a company, or their brother owns a company, or they own a company that you're presenting to, and now, now you're marketing to their company and their potential employees. So you've kind of expanded, but all the time you're a satisfied customer presenting to the different sources of people, and the source could be that one market that turned into a method, which could be a one-on-one, which turned into an enrollment. So it's still a method that you're reaching the end user, which in that particular one-on-one presentation with a referral to a company, that turned in from a one-to-one and it expanded into an enrollment. But nonetheless, the one-on-one or the enrollment is still making a presentation to an end user so they can see our service, make a decision on our service, make a sale, and that's where we make the money. All right. Or you can make a one-on-one presentation, and it turns into, yeah, I would like to do this business, like my example of Gabon. Now I've turned a one-on-one into a recruit, and I've actually recruited somebody from that. Sometimes I do a one-on-one, or I bring somebody to a briefing, and they need an additional method, and that would be a 3-way call. But you see how it's not this or that, it's all the same thing. We're just using different methods to get to the end goal, which is a sale, a recruit, or a new company account, or a new broker insurance agency. So it's to expand our reach. So in a recruit, in a broker, or an insurance agency, those are all additional ways to move products through another person. An enrollment, a company account, or a customer sale, those are ways to actually get to the end user. But the recruit, the company account, and the broker, those are ways to get to the end user. The bottom line, they're all ways to get to the end user, and that is the customer, so that they can hear the presentation, so they can make a decision, so they can get the service. That's what we do, from our satisfied customer and us using the service to fill the equation gap between the 10,000, 100,000, 1 million, or 5 million in your area. That's what you're going to be doing. Seeing the people, telling the story, getting the R3, referrals to the power of 3, and starting to discover what is your best source and your best method for you personally. So you don't try to be a Brian Crothers. You don't try to be a Sharon Okanowski if she's in, maybe her best source is to go to networking groups, and then her best method is enrollment, and that's where she gets most of her sales. Whereas somebody else might go to a one-on-one and get a recruit and train them to go and present to one-on-ones, or use a briefing or PBR, maybe a PBR. I know Brian Crothers, his favorite thing is a PBR, yet I've never done a PBR. So here's one person that's made millions, all PBRs. He swears by PBRs. Here's the Hoffmans, who've never done PBRs, and we're making millions, and we've never done a PBR. So there's the point. You've got to find what works for you. Now, if I've never done a PBR and I recruit a Deb Otten, and she is super hostess with the mostest in her home, and she's super outgoing and social, and a PBR is the best idea for her, that's what I'm going to do for Deb. Because I don't do them doesn't mean she doesn't do them. And that is one of the biggest casualties of our industry, is you're teaching people to do what works for you, and you're not figuring them out what works for them. So at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to look at what you discovered from your source and methods assessment personally. And Trish, you want to bring up the polling questions and explain how you did that. We're going to look at, we're going to take the source. Unfortunately, she could only put 5 questions, so I don't really know if this is going to work. But let's just look at this one. Where is my success coming from? So you are to pick one box. When you did your homework, what did you find out? That when you looked at every sale, every recruit, and every account, that whether it be a broker or company account, did the source. Now, when I say source of where it came from, you couldn't have met them at a networking group and now you're good friends and call them warm market. That is not a warm market. The original place you met them was a networking group. That would be a networking group on your assessment. Because you know them as a warm market now, that's not where you originally got them from or met them. So if I did a one-on-one and I got a referral to Sharon Okanowski, that would not, even though I know Sharon now, the original way I met Sharon was Deb Otten gave me a referral at my one-on-one, and it led to a referral, and that was Sharon Okanowski. So she would be a referral on my assessment. So go ahead and pick the one thing that you used most on the source of where your success is coming from what's on the, oh, I see what you did here. You put technology, social media, and cold calling all in one, Trish. So those were separated on your assessment. So this really, I don't know if this is, but technology, social media, and cold calling are all kind of in the cold market. So we'll go with that and see what happens. Trish, can you see how many people have answered the question?
We have 49%.
All right, some new people may be on the call going, what is going on? Well, this is what we did last week, so we'll just give it a few more seconds here and see what we have when we are done. Will you, wait a minute.
We're at 56%.
How do you do this, Jen? I can't click on mine.
Because you're a panelist, you're a staffer.
Okay. All right, well, let's go with that poll. Let's look at what we got here. And at this time, Trish, you can open the lines. Now we see the answer to the poll. There we go. All right, so 60% of the people are going to the people they know. And the question on this now, from a assessment standpoint, is I learned when I went to Detroit that people will go into the warm market, and I specifically talked to this one individual that sells 1,000 memberships to his warm market. And I said to people he knew, and I said, did you get R3? And he goes, what's R3? And I go, well, that's when you go and you make a presentation. He was doing one-on-ones, that was his thing, and he was making all these sales. And I said, so when you went cross town, made the appointment, set the appointment, did the presentation, got the sale, did you, once you got the sale, increase the exponential growth of your opportunity, increase your business success by going through the R3 program and getting referrals to the Power of 3? And he said no. He never got referrals. He didn't even think to ask them who they knew that owned a company that cared about their employees. And he might have asked for the recruit side, but he missed the additional customers, and he missed the somebody's clicking their phone, so make sure your phone's on mute if you're not talking. Okay, so he missed that, and then it looks like we had the second most popular. But look at from this chart, what can somebody tell me is missing in your strategy? Can people talk, Trish? There's something you can see from the screen, and I want to see if you can understand how when you assess. Go ahead. Anybody want to notice what would you comment about what is the weakness that can actually literally double the business by what you see? Referrals. Exactly. Brielle Hoffman, who just made sober, who has been ED for almost 17 months straight now, her number one source of all her business is a referral. And of course, because we build it and we teach it so strongly, and she comes back, and you know, when you do PDA with us, and you come back and you don't have referrals, we're going to be like teaching you that. So her number one source is referrals. And I'm looking at all of you, your number one source is warm market. That's because that's kind of what they teach from stage, but you are missing the referrals and the networking skills. And how about the 3-foot rule? That should be another huge source for you if you start learning how to approach people. Everybody, again, mute your phones. Any other comments on this slide that you learned from your own personal, where is your success coming from? What did you learn personally?
Can you hear me?
Yep, Ken, go ahead.
Really, when I first started, I didn't do referrals, and it's not something that was in my my book the way I did my book, and I see how important it is, and we had a call with our team the other day about referrals and how we have to do the 3 at least, and so. I like that. I mean, I like it. I'm using it now, and I will continue to use it and teach it because that's a huge percentage.
Yes, exactly. Well, I'd like to see referrals be like 75%. That number should be. So right there, literally everyone on this phone, if you master, go back to the online training. Go to the online training. Go to the new associate training. Go to selling the service, that module, and go to referral training. Watch the referral training until it becomes your new normal. Anyone else make a comment about where your success is coming from?
Hey, Darcy, this is Anita Koch in Rochester Hills, Michigan, and I was actually kind of surprised to find out that I have more business coming from referrals than I expected, not because I'm doing such a good job of asking for referrals, but because I've been in the business long enough and follow up with my members consistently enough that my members are giving me referrals. And the other thing that I learned is that one-to-one presentations is by far my strongest suit as far as writing membership. Back to you.
All right, so that's good. So you had no idea. Sometimes you don't know what you don't know. So when you did the exercise, you realized, wow, this is where it's at. To go out there to the marketplace and do all the work y'all do to get that customer and to service that customer, whether it be a company account or a small business owner or a customer that has the family plan or an individual plan, and then not take that satisfied customer and expand your market share from that person that's satisfied, literally is the easiest and most successful way to grow your business from a existing satisfied customer. Now, and again, and I think the reason that you're missing it is because the only idea you had in your mind for a satisfied customer was a recruit. You thought that the only thing you can do when you go to the marketplace is to satisfy, if they like the product, and you're focused on recruit and associate. And if that wasn't what they wanted to do, if that wasn't their interest, you missed the other referrals of additional customers and the referrals of a company owners they might know that they could get you into the door of. And like, Brielle, are you on the line? You see Brielle? She might be traveling, but Brielle says to the clients, you know, would you make a warm introduction to those 3 companies that you just shared with me? Would you mind calling your uncle? Would you mind calling your neighbor? Would you mind calling and letting them know that you got a service that you're excited about? You can't believe the benefit that your family's going to get. You found out it's an employee benefit, and Brielle Hoffman will be calling you. So you have your prospect that is now a member help you. And then, of course, if those 3 accounts, if they're not interested in the business, if those 3 accounts end up, you write an enrollment of 30 apps, let's say, for an account, you call that customer back and say, look, are you sure you don't want to do this business? Because that referral you gave me, they loved it, their company owner got it, and, you know, and their employees, and then you're able to go back, and maybe they didn't really realize the potential, and so you might have a new associate there that you can put that business under that referral. And anytime I get a referral from person A, gives me 5 referrals. I go to those 5 referrals, and I get 4 sales in one company account, and whatever success comes from that, I will go back to that person A and say, are you sure you don't want to do this business? I would like to put these referrals through your business, and you kind of do that just to make sure, because I want to have utmost integrity and to just move on with those wins, that success, and bring them into it would be kind of a bummer if they ever found out and they're like, what? You got that company account and this happened, that was my referral. I want them to be able to know that they can still participate in the financial reward of expanding our business and sharing our business, and so you do go back to them. So Trish, let's go. Any other comments on where your success is coming from? And go pull up the next polling question, Trish. All right, we'll just go to the next quick poll, and this is about the method. Okay, so now we're going to find out, are you a person that's good with one-on-ones, or can you do a phone presentation where you can call somebody up and you never meet them and they get the big picture and they're able to make a decision to come into the business? The polling just disappeared, Trish, so you got to pull that back up. Or are you somebody that all your success is when you take somebody to a briefing or an event? Is that where, because somebody else is doing the presentation for you and that is a better idea for you, that might be a more successful of a method for you? We still can't see the method polling question, Trish.
I know.
So we're, okay. All right. Why don't we answer this now? Everybody see it on their screen. Choose one. I see you put PBRs. This is kind of not going to be as successful as I wanted. One-on-ones, that's when you're meeting them personally. Phone presentation and 3-ways aren't really the same kind of things, but a phone presentation is really a one-on-one over the phone. You don't have to meet with them personally. Some people can do that. Some people can't. 3-way, so I guess using the phone to secure your success. An event, we'll call a PBR, and wow.
You call a presentation to a group.
Yeah, this is not got, you don't even have enrollments on here, so dang. I don't know how we do this, because they just didn't let her do 5 questions. And all right, well, darn. I guess I tell you what, if you do your success in the enrollments, put one-on-one presentation. Throw it into that, because that's basically you presenting to the person directly in a group. So if it's enrollments, add it to the one-on-ones.
Okay.
See what our highest success is for everyone that did their assessment. And, we might have to do this with a survey so we can do it the correct way. Trish, I wish you would have told me you only had 5.
Darcy,
yeah.
A group is a big event, so maybe it should be under the...
No, a big event is when you are not talking, somebody's talking for you.
Oh,
so big
okay.
events when I'm a great person for inviting, but I'm not doing the presentation. That's why I'm putting an enrollment, Deb, is within the presentation. Or is that, yeah. So a PDR is when I invite somebody, I sit in a chair with my person. At a big event, I sit in the chair with my person, and someone else is doing the presentation for me. Business briefing, Super Saturday, executive luncheon, put that for that. Business briefing, Super Saturday, executive luncheon, if that's what it, again, the PBR and the business briefing and luncheon are when you're really better at inviting than you are at presenting. That's kind of what that's going to be about. And the website, social media, a lot of people think I'm going to get success from a lead that comes through the website. I spend maybe 50% of my time on social media, and then you're going to find out, is that actually producing? Is that a method that is actually bringing people into your business, or do they want to see you, meet you, see you eye to eye at a event, whether it be a PBR or business briefing or a one-on-one? Or does website actually work for you? So that'll be interesting. Where are we at on the number of people that answered, Trish? Okay, wow. 89% learns that by doing a presentation themselves to a person is where their income is coming from. Wow, PBRs, 3%, 18% coming in from business briefing and executive luncheon. Almost the website. That is very interesting. 13% from the website. And phone presentations and three-way calls, 13%. So business briefing and one-on-ones is our two top winners for this particular polling. We're going to send this. We're going to send these methods to our entire organization. I want to see if that'd be very interesting. But what do you learn from this slide? The phone lines are open, so go ahead and share what you're learning right now.
You need to learn to do an effective presentation.
Is that John Veltri?
Yes, it was.
Hi, John. It's
Good morning.
only if that is yours. Was one-on-ones your best method?
Absolutely,
okay, so
it
don't.
was.
Oh, it was. Okay, so now the question is, are you doing R3 at your one-on-ones? And if you realize the number one way, Trish, where's the poll? We don't see it anymore. Okay, so pull that poll back up, please, so we can comment on it. Anyways, the key is, so John, if you're good at one-on-ones and you keep plugging into all this other, well, you can plug into the things, but that's not a problem because it's fun and you're seeing the people and that's part of it. But the reality is you're finding out, maybe, let's say there's a briefing Tuesday night. You could be doing one-on-ones Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And all those people, to have fun and to have validation, they all come with you to the briefing. But you actually are doing business, closing business, recruiting associates more from going out in the marketplace to them Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and the rest of the week. And maybe y'all come in, and so now you have 10 people coming with you versus doing nothing Wednesday through except making phone calls, inviting them to a briefing, and then nobody shows up or something like that, and thinking that's the only thing that works, all right? So maybe you realize, wow, I could do 3 presentations a day, and that would be 15 a week, and out of those 15, let's say 10 say yes to the service, and then you get a whole slew of referrals and a whole slew of companies and a whole slew of associates. And so you build from there and get really good at that. You don't want to really worry about getting super good at the one-on-one. You can go to a one-on-one and open up your laptop and play a video. So, but the key is that you have taken control of your success. Instead of waiting for them to come to a PBR or come to an event, you're literally going to them. And now you know that they're going to get the educated presentation of what our service and opportunity is about, because you went to them. So it's putting a little bit more control in the end result by you going to them. It's great if they come to you. That's awesome. That's a potential method that will work. So anyone else want to make some comments about what they see on the screen and what they learned from their assessment on the method that works best for you to bring in a customer, an associate, or a company account, or broker, or insurance agent?
Darcy?
Yes?
It's Katie. How are you?
Good. Katie Hoff.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good ShieldNation family. When it comes to the poll I have done with my recruiting, especially, and even in my group, I've always led with the one-on-one in the sense that whether it's obviously in person, because I'm a believer that they buy us before they buy our story. And so I always have done the one-on-one, and then I always send them immediately to the todaysbestcareer.com. So what my method of thinking and operation is that obviously they see us, the professional person with an amazing opportunity and service, but then they have the three-way person, Mr. John Hoffman, in his professional presentation talking a sales and marketing opportunity to impact people's lives. So it's kind of, in a way, the one-on-one presentation, the website, and that's basically my way of even doing the three-way
is by John on the conference or on the website.
Interesting. And that's where when you looked at your top recruiting activity that's successful, you
That's
saw
all I do. Meet them, talk to them on the phone, get them on the website, and then enroll them.
All right, wait. Let me
do the game
let me
plan.
see. You did not go out and one-on-one at a restaurant and meet them. You actually talked one-on-one on the phone, sent them to the technology, which is the presentation. So you engaged with them, you got to know them, you had a relationship. And you did that via phone?
Most times, yes, unless I'm like at a networking event. But, you know, I think there's at least for me, when I'm at a networking event, that's not the time, obviously, to do a presentation. It's a matter of getting a card and then following up and meeting with them one-on-one for either the opportunity or the group. So
right. But
that one-on-one isn't like sitting down, having a cup of coffee, pulling out my iPad or a flip chart. But I have done that, but that's not the majority of my efforts. Mine have been contacting the person on the phone, talking to them, telling them about us, taking about 5 minutes, if that, lead them to the website, follow up with them within 24 hours, and they either are ready to get the service, the opportunity, or it's just not a good time, and you put them in your pipeline down the road, check with them in a month or two, and go on to the next one.
Okay, and what about now, are these local people or long-distance people?
All the above. All the above, especially if they are, obviously, if I'm doing it in Nevada or talking to people in Nevada, obviously if I'm in Montana, I'm doing it on the phone. So
right.
If I'm obviously in my own market, I'm meeting them usually face-to-face in an event, or you know, just going through even technology to find people like at the Chamber of Commerce websites and different sites in your local market.
All right, that's great. Thanks for sharing.
Thanks.
I love to go to out and about, and I do the 3-foot rule, and then the first step is today's best career for me, and then I get I said the first thing you need to do is go to today's best. I engage, just like Katie's talking about. She engages through the phone. I engage through 3-foot rules. And I said, wow, maybe you'd be a good fit for our company. We're expanding, sales and marketing in this local area. If you're not satisfied with your job or your income, let's have you take a look. The first step of our interview process is for you to go to Today's Best Career, look at our company, look at our product line, see if it's a fit for you, see if you could wrap your heart around it, really, because we're on a mission to make a difference with individuals, families, companies, and their employees. And so if you see a fit for you, then I want you to, here's my card, and I do get their card to follow up with them, but I kind of like do my sorting through the Today's Best Career. And then if they see it and they can't get excited about helping people with our products after seeing that presentation, because that shows you the money and all the different divisions, and if they can't get excited about looking at all those other videos on there and Rip Mason's on there, phenomenal, and the top reasons, we're also going to be adding a commission calculator possibly, so that to the Today's Best Career. So calculate your potential income by looking at the prices of our product lines. We might be adding that on, so it's really interactive for a candidate. So they can go on, and that's kind of the new trend for candidates today. They're kind of wanting to know everything. They're doing a lot of research on their own. And then by the time I get that email, then I go out there to do that one-on-one presentation for paperwork. I'm getting the paperwork done, because it's like they've already taken care of the presentation through the website, and I'm just doing the final paperwork and the game plan kind of at that time. So it's very, very, what do you call productive, very productive that way. So I get rid of all the, I don't know. And so I just worked with somebody in Detroit who did it the opposite. They kind of had, they went to the account, they went to the website, but they still aren't, they aren't skilled in really specifying, being very intentional about why I'm meeting with you and what our company is expanding and what we're looking for. So she went to the one-on-one and spent 2 hours at a one-on-one after they had already seen Today's Best Career. And Katie, if you're on the phone anymore, can you comment to a 2-hour presentation after they've seen Today's Best Career? Would that ever happen with you?
No, because if it does, I usually lose them, because then they sit and they go, I don't want to do this to my friends or family. I don't want to go through 2 hours. And that's why you always use the Today's Best Careers, because it's succinct, it's to the point, and it gives that person the belief that I can do exactly what Katie just did for me. Introduce herself, tell me a little bit about the company that they're expanding, looking for people with all different types of skill set, part-time, full-time. Saw the presentation. The presentation was great. And then it's like they can sit in their own mindset and say, well, I can do the same thing. And it only takes about 30 minutes because of the presentation being 18 minutes, a 10-minute conversation, and then follow up. Because
exactly.
people believe that they can do it as well. Because all of us that are on the phone, I'm assuming not everyone's a veteran, but if you're brand new, you're fumbling, you don't have the confidence, but the website is consistent every day, on time, all the time. And the reason why that's so important is because when I was doing the Super Saturday in Denver, I asked them about like the DVD or the websites and saying, how many people have a bad day? Well, everybody in the room has a bad day. Well, guess what? The website doesn't have a bad day, doesn't have an up mood, down mood. It's consistent all the time. And so that message is clean and clear, and you don't have to be relying on you if you're brand new or a veteran and the state of mind that you're in. So it's short, succinct, and they go, I can do this.
That's awesome. Okay, excellent. Let's see, how do you help people to talk? Thank you so much, Kate. Super great information there. Bob, are you out there? Bob Cohen?
They can raise their hand. Anybody that would like to talk or have a question, raise their hand.
Anyone else want to share about what you see and what you learned about, again, not
Darcy, I think
story.
Bob, Jerry, and John are lost in L.A.
I'm here. Get to that mute
Okay.
thing. Now, this is fascinating. I love the poll because it really is, it shines a spotlight on kind of what people are doing, and that's fine. We're all individuals. That's what makes us so great. And I'm really, really pleased to see the one-on-one presentation is almost, 9 out of 10 associates are seeing success there, because that's what's done it for me. And, I like what you just shared there, Darcy. You say these pearls, you probably don't even realize you say it, but you had mentioned here, well, when you get together with somebody, you can even sit down with them and show them a video. That absolutely duplicates. We're a team of all about the consumer folder presentation, because it's just so effective, and it duplicates, and then that person can take it to someone else and such. So that was a good nugget just hearing you say, for that brand new associate, even they can just go online and show somebody a website, with greatlegalbenefit.com or todaysbestcareer.com. We've got a few websites out there. Just get back with your executive director and check them out. See which one you like, because then that's going to be the one that you're going to be passionate about. So thanks so much.
All right. Thanks, Bob. And I guess, Bob, you're having a new office out there in L.A., is that right?
Yeah, we're in Los Angeles. We're just doing the deal. We've been a lot of activity, seeing a lot of people. And, my thing is networking and getting out there. So I'll just give you a quick success story. I was at a networking event. It was a lunch. Paid my $16, enjoyed my salmon. But I got to meet about 30 people. In fact, not only there was no other Legal Shield people there wasn't even another attorney there, which I've never seen. That absolutely blew my mind. But one of the individuals I met was the CEO of a private credit union, and they do not have an identity theft product. So it's all about getting out of your comfort zone every day, seeing the people, and just being nice, building the rapport.
Excellent, excellent. So that would be method, or source would have been a networking group. Method, well, actually, you're probably going to end up doing a one-on-one to this CEO of a credit union, so that will be turned into a source networking group. Activity that produces a success would be a one-on-one presentation to a CEO. So how about you, Teresa Wright Johnson? Are you out there? I see her name.
Yes,
or anyone else?
I'm here, Darcy.
Oh, there she is. Okay, Teresa. What did you learn?
I learned quite a bit about me doing this exercise, and you had shared this with me earlier, like I think it was about November time frame. And I started looking at where was my activity coming from, and I realized that it was definitely coming from my warm market. I do ask for referrals, but I wasn't consistently asking for referrals, and so I realized that that was a gaping hole for me that I needed to definitely fill. And for me, I do the one-on-one presentations, and I think whenever I'm in front of the person, in front of the individual, that I have a better success ratio than just trying to give them information over the phone or sending them some information. Obviously, if we're in different cities, then, you know, the ratio is a lot higher. But if it's local market right here, I try to make sure that I get them to a live event or that I'm sitting down in front of them so that we can talk together and they, you know, we get a chance to build a relationship and all of that good stuff. And so that's what has worked for me. But this exercise has been phenomenal because it helped me to find out where was most of my activity coming from. And until you asked me that, I really didn't know. I mean, I had an idea, but my idea really didn't pan out to be definitely the warm market and definitely the one-on-one presentation. So this was an eye-opener for me, a great exercise.
And Teresa, thank you for sharing what you just shared, because this is my heart for you all on this phone. I know that you're capable of more without really changing what you do, but opening your eyes to the true strategies of all business successes. And when I go up to someone and I say, where is the source? Where do you get your success from? And they can't tell me, or what method is best working for you. That'd be like, can you even imagine going into a Macy's or something and they don't know what marketing avenue, radio, TV, newspaper, whatever, social media, where is their source of the method that brings in the customer? They will be able to tell you 8.6% of our customers come from this, and 12.5% of our customers come from this, and this source of advertising work, you know, this is where we put $50 million, and this is where we put $100 million, and they know where they allocate, okay, all of their dollars for their success in growing their companies, or else they are studying it in very excessive detail. You hear Alan Fernley, he's all about that, you know, that feedback and things like that. And so that's where I know that you're super great, and you're like a rat on a wheel, you know, spinning around, working hard, and you really haven't stepped back. And Michael Gerber talks about it at the EMS, you're working in your business, but not on your business. This activity was where it separates the game change. This is a game changer activity, that you're working on your business. And so many people are so in, what's the next how-to, and where can I learn this, and what are they saying in their script, and what do they do? And it's all this how-to stuff, and they just keep running around in circles, and they haven't stepped back to assess them, yourself, you. What are you best at? What is working best for you? And so let me just tell you, in Detroit, somebody comes up, and I'm on stage, and I said, you know, I cannot believe how hard you make it on yourself. For instance, I have people that they go to a presentation, maybe they send them to a website, then they meet one-on-one, and, you know, website, one-on-one, hello. What else do you need to see? It's just so obvious. It's either a service that you need or an opportunity that you fit into. It's really not, you know, like, what else do you need to see? Okay, as long as they've had testimonials, that's really important, and validation. So a live event might validate it, a three-way call might validate it, so you might do the website, the one-on-one, and then a three-way to validate. That one push you over the top to really make them feel secure about their decision. So that's what we're really doing to help that client, prospect, feel secure about what the decision they're making. But if they've made a decision, if I go on a one-on-one and they're like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen, oh, this product is so great, I can't believe, where has it been, and they're so excited, so you get paperwork done. But somebody came up to me and they're going, well, they say from stage that you have to do a three-way call. And I go, well, first I have to say, I told them, don't make it so hard. If somebody is ready, they see it, they're ready to go, get them, let them become a member or an associate if they're ready. And you can do a three-way to welcome them. You can do a three-way to congratulate them on their decision, but you don't need a three-way to confirm their decision because they already have decided they want the service or the business. And I'm like, why do you hold back and wait, and then you schedule this three-way, and pretty soon you can't get all the times together, and a week goes by, and who knows what happens to that opportunity that was ready to commit. And so the person came up and they go, I never knew you didn't have to do a three-way with every single presentation, because on stage, all the leaders say approach, event, three-way. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So, and what my goal is for you all is you see every person and even you as a marketeer are different. And if you can find your sweet spot, the place that you have the highest productivity, you are the owner of your company. You are wanting top productivity and top results for the least effort, actually, is what we're looking for, so we can have the right sweet spot working for you where you do the thing that you're great at and it explodes your business rather than making it so difficult. And so here's this lady that I felt so bad for, and so many people, maybe they're doing PBRs and they're really a one-on-one or a networking group type person, and they're off doing a PBR in a home, and that's so opposite. Or the opposite, you're doing a networking group and you're totally not, that's not your skill set match, and you should be doing a PBR and using and plugging in a DVD and showing the DVD and just being really hostess with the mostest. You're great at inviting people, love you, they want to come to your event. Then you should be over there doing that versus the networking groups and thinking that you're going to be a Katie who can go out there and talk to anybody, and you don't have that working for you so well. So you have to really define you and then define your method and such. But here's people that are doing methods that other people are telling them to do, and they're forcing the method into their life. And so that's the sad part about hearing people from the stage saying, this is what you have to do, or this is what you have to do, and then you thinking, because so-and-so did that, I have to do that, whatever that method is that works for them, and then you're clumsy, you're unsuccessful, it's very unenjoyable. Let me just say that. If you're doing the thing that is not your method, and you're working in a source that isn't your source, it's very unenjoyable, and you're not enjoying your business. I can guarantee you that. And so when you find your sweet spot, you're actually going to have a blast again, having a business, making money, and doing what you're designed to do. So any final comments about the simplicity and what you learned in living in your sweet spot out there? And Steve Hales, are you out there?
I am, Darcy.
Okay. Well, why don't you close it up, Steve?
Sure.
I heard somebody else.
Right along the same lines of what you were talking about, in the beginning of my business, I know I was afraid to ask for the order, to just ask for the sale. I would do the presentation, and it would come time to close, and I was just afraid to ask for the order. I guess I was afraid of the rejection. But after going through my ShieldNation training and going through that script, there's verbiage, there's questions that you ask in that presentation that lead up to that. So that really helped me to be able to just ask for that order. And it's the same thing as when you're talking to somebody about the opportunity. Just ask, is this something that you're ready to do? Are you dissatisfied? Are you ready for something that could bring more value to your life and lives of people that you know? And what I learned today is I really got to nail down referrals personally. And that's something that I got to get good at so that my team can get good at it.
Yeah, exactly. So. All right, and remember, we don't get referrals by asking for referrals. So when you go to the referral training, you don't use the word referrals, by the way. So we never ask for a referral. But just like you said, Steve, you don't ask for the order, but there's certain strategies and questions that lead to the order, so you're not doing the uncomfortable. And would you like to get this service? Like you're not getting it flat out. They already are saying yes in the presentation. So is there any reason you wouldn't want to get your family protected today? There's ways that you say it, and it's all in the script. And if you go to the referral, it's all in the script. It's all in the training. But you don't actually say, can I have a referral? Ever. You don't say that. you do get referrals without asking for referrals. You use this method that's taught on the online training. And so, any final comments out there?
What a great call. What a great call for all of us old people who were told PBR, 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 and also for the new people who will have choices.
Yeah. All right, that's a great comment to end on, and I hope you have a highly productive going to the source that's best for you and using the method that's best for you. So let's go double our businesses in 2015. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.